I tried my best. They do not offer equity and we were so close. You need to be competitive, move forward to an offer, which is what we're doing. This is gonna be nuts. Happy Monday and welcome back to yet again another week where I show you what I do every single day as a recruiter in the technology industry, working for myself in my own agency. If you've seen last week's video, you know that we tried so hard to get one more offer to pop, but that is gonna have to wait until this week. Now, as of right now, it is almost about 1 p.m. on Monday. I've still yet to hear back from my candidate. It is extremely nerve-wracking. Apparently, I also heard back from the founder of my client. He got in sync with her over the weekend. I followed up with her this morning, nothing. So I don't know what's going on here. It's at a point where it's either a yay or nay. I'm not sure if she wants to negotiate. I just don't know what's happening. I don't know what my candidate's thinking. So my first number one priority is to get a hold of her and see how she's feeling. Is she excited? Does she want to accept? How can I help? But it's been over half a day yet, nothing. But coming into this week, we have 4 interviews today, a bunch of candidate calls. We also have a lot of other invoices to send out. We have a lot of new positions to pick up, and I'm slowly being systematic in terms of hitting all the important positions I need to hit. So in terms of today, I've already prospected product marketing candidates, product management, product analysts, and designers. Gonna shift gears to recruiters and software engineers, and then just really see where all the pipeline and the status is in the next couple of days, just to see what really requires my attention and needs my help. We still have a couple handful of deals that are slowly simmering. Candidates are slowly making their way to the final round, which is obviously very, very exciting and anxious at the same time. So I'm gonna have to be very, very aware in terms of like what all the processes are doing, how fast they're moving, and which of those need my immediate care and alertness and attention. So aside from that, I'm excited. It is a brand new Monday. It's very windy, and you can see this is slowly our setup is improving, and I'm no longer sitting in a white box. So hopefully it's a little bit more colorful and enjoyable for you to watch, and it's slowly feeling like our apartment is coming together, which obviously helps the mental headspace when it comes to just trying to focus and not being surrounded by boxes all the time since our recent move. But if you are as excited as I am, it is March. It is the last month of Q1, and where you are with your goals. Are you passing them? Are you almost hitting them? Are you on track? Are you on track of making Q1 awesome? And if you are as excited as I am and you're as focused in terms of wanting to hit your goals or crush them by the end of March and Q1 to create that momentum for this year, please consider liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. We all need it to do the best that we can this week and to finish strong and to set 2022 up the best that we can. So I got a bunch more calls right now. I have 2 candidate calls back to back. I need to follow up with 3 of my interviews, and we'll see what sort of fun things that this week has in store. But I need to get in touch with my candidate pronto and see if we can figure this out. So talk to you in a bit. All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, happy Monday.
Bye. Okay, so I finally got a hold of my candidate, but nothing yet. But at least she's talking to the founder of the company, which is fantastic. So they're supposed to be talking right now. Oh, I hope it goes well. It's like almost 5 p.m. on Monday. Haven't heard from her all week. It's nerve-wracking. I don't want to lose another deal like February. It'd be amazing if this was able to go through. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
I just don't think that this is the right role for me right now.
Gotcha. Is there a reason why? Because I thought you were really, really excited about them.
There's a lot to be excited about. And to me, the change in title, once we establish that it isn't about my skill set being inadequate, it's often a sort of a trigger for supply chain folks when finance has a CFO and marketing has a CMO, and supply chain is only going to get a senior director in the first place, to then have the company decide that they don't need a senior director after all, that they don't want to set up a level in the organization that sort of says like, oh, this is a place that may or may not ever take supply chain seriously.
You had an offer with another company, and you held it off all the way till now because you were really, really excited about about this particular company. When you kind of came into the picture, I think they wanted to just kind of change everything to accommodate you, which is the whole reason why like they were okay kind of reverting the title back to senior director.
I guess I'm more concerned that they'll never think they need a COO, that it will always be superfluous.
Oh my God, no! Never gets easier. That was my candidate, she just chose to reject. Oh my God. We reached out to her for a senior director role, and then she went through the whole process. She got an offer, and then the offer was for a director. And she's like, what is going on with this? And then I went back to the founder. I'm like, why did you offer her a director than senior director? That's horrible for the candidate experience. And his defense was, hey, we already have a lot of directors on different departments, and some of them are more senior experience-wise than your candidate. And so if she comes on, she has equivalent experience or a little bit junior than other directors, but they call her senior directors, all the other directors in the other departments will go up in arms and be angry. And that's totally valid, and I get that. But our whole recruiting process from the outreach called it a senior director because that was our understanding that that's what this position was going to be called. I had no idea that the client was going to come out with an offer for a director role. Like, that makes us look horrible. That makes them look horrible. You know, typically the only other defense in this situation is like, hey, a director at a big company means something different from a director at a small company. Or maybe like a director at small means something to a director big. That's why smaller companies have, you know, there's things like title inflation where you'd be a director at a small company, but you join a bigger company and you're only a senior lead, right? But at the end of the day, like for my candidate, regardless of whether or not it has anything to do with a title mismatch or title inflation, she's been a director for the past 5 years and she really wanted to become a senior director in her next role. When I approached her with this position, everything matched up. Like, it was senior director, the salary, she loved the company, and she was able to push back her other offer all the way up until now. And then when she got the offer with the director, even though she heard the defense from the founder, that did not strike her really, really well. In fact, as I used her language, she says it triggered her because she's in operations, supply chain, and in her experience, that department has never really been looked at equally compared to engineering or product or any other departments. She said the fact that they can't give her the senior director for the right reasons, and they had to come back with some sort of defense, made her feel bad about the whole situation and made her think that if she joined, getting vertical mobility, moving higher in the organization is going to be very, very difficult for her. Maybe she'll won't be able to become a senior director. Maybe if she does become a senior director, that's it. Maybe she will not be able to grow into a VP or COO as many other companies would offer her. Either way, I tried my best to revive and resuscitate the situation, but she seemed pretty concrete and official to the point where she said that she would like to officially stop this process. And I get it. If a candidate says no, that's one thing. But if they say no from like a situation that should never happen in the first place, like that makes me really angry and that makes me very sour. Like, I'm all about the candidate experience. And if I work with the candidate the whole process and then he or she gets an offer for a different position entirely or a different title entirely, they'll be like, what is going on? Did you mislead me the whole time? And even though, you know, my candidate would tell me that she's not blaming me, I mean, I wouldn't blame her if a small part of her is like, oh, Preston wasting my time, or Preston's team. And so like, this has been an absolute disaster, and I just don't know what to do moving forward. Like, do we keep this going? Do we look for a senior director or VP? I don't know what the founder wants to do here. And so I lost this candidate. I don't even know if I should even continue sourcing for this because I don't even know if what position the client's looking for now. Oh man, it's Monday. I was hoping to celebrate this evening with this offer. That would have been a huge offer. But now I have to let my recruiting partner know. Hopefully I can sync up with my CEO founder to see like what he wants to do moving forward. But this is not ideal at all. Gotta shake it off and keep going. We were so close. We sourced this position, been working with this position on and off for 2 years. We were so close of getting it done, and then done. Hello, it is 8:30 p.m. on a Monday. Just had to go out, refresh my mind, get some comfort food, and just come back and think about it At the end of the day, like going through experiences like this never gets easier. First of all, I think that's good. It's good to be in tune with your emotions and to feel things. But what I think is ultimately is really frustrating for me is that we lost this deal not from our doing. We lost this deal because we're working with a company, a client that is not really prioritizing the candidate experience. If you've been watching for a long time, you know that for me, candidate experience is everything. As a recruiter, we are the middleman that connects companies and talent. And while of course I'm biased, I would love nothing more for candidates to accept our jobs, at the end of the day, I'm always trying to remind myself and be considerate to the candidate's point of view that getting a new job, first of all, is a very big and stressful, monumental occasion in their life. And it's my job to do what I can to present them with much information as possible so that they can make the best decision for themselves. If they make it with my client, great. If they don't, that hurts, but still great. And ultimately, I still want to be able to do what I can to maintain a good relationship with them. But in this market where the companies are the candidates and the good candidates have more selection than ever, it is so pivotal for companies to take candidate experience seriously. Aside from their sales pitch of why you should join them, candidates, they're interviewing you. That experience starts as soon as they interview with you from the first round. As you think that you're only interviewing candidates, interviewing is a two-way street. While most companies do a stellar job, some do a phenomenal job, others do a subpar job. What's crazy here is that the interview process actually was pretty good with my client, but they dropped the ball massively by thinking that changing the title mid-interview wasn't a big deal, where in fact, like they completely forgot to consider how that would affect the point of view and experience of a candidate. First of all, it just doesn't make sense why you would do that. Like, how would you feel if someone reached out to you and like, hey, I have a VP role. Like, let's say that you're a director and someone reached out to you for a VP role. You're like, oh my God, yeah, I think this would make sense in my career. I want to be a VP. I think I have what it takes. And then you go through the whole process, the whole company, and everyone's telling you that it will make a great addition to the team as a VP. And then references happen, then the offer happens, and then it comes out as a senior director or a director. How would that make you feel? Completely misled, possibly even lied to, and feeling like it's just a waste of time, or what I really wanted wasn't really respected or prioritized for the company. You know, in another circumstance, I think if this was somebody else, it might not have resulted in the candidate withdrawing completely. But because my candidate unfortunately went through the same thing again before, she doesn't want to put up with a company that would do that again to her. So like, she's protecting herself and she knows what she wants, and all power to her. It's just, it should not have gotten this far, or it should not have resulted the way it did. Like, we found this perfect candidate. She had an offer. I developed a relationship with her. I asked her to push it back, and she was so excited about my client. They loved her, she loved them. It was almost a match made in heaven, and then this happened. And then, you know, the company's attitude is like, oh, sorry, it was like a mistake. Let's just try to see if we can fix this, and maybe she'll join. But my candidate is smarter than that. She's like, you know what? I appreciate that they're acknowledging the mistake, but what's not to say that this won't happen again? Or if they don't think that I can have the right title now, how would I feel confident that I'll get the right title with them in the future if I want to move up? And that's something that she really wants to do. So unfortunately, a small mishap allowed my candidate to lose a lot of trust and faith in my client. And it's just another example. Again, this should go without saying, especially when you're talking about really senior leadership roles, that you want to pay extra attention and make sure all your ducks in a row. If you're going to offer or change a title, try to be upfront about it early in the process so you don't waste everybody's time. Either way, like, no matter how much that this is hurting, I still want to do whatever I can to end the process well with my candidate, let things really positive, and even end it saying, hey, really enjoyed working with you. I know you're going to accept this other offer, which you should, but if you need help hiring, reach out to me. And you know, that's really the biggest benefit of leaving things positive and not snapping and not just getting really, really angry about things. And I think, you know, when I lose deals, and you saw me lose deals all last month, and you know, the bunch of videos before, like, it would hurt, but then it would just dissipate. But this one kind of like stuck in there a little bit more, only because like I lost this deal in a way that should never have happened. So either way, nothing's perfect, things happen, just gotta adapt. But now we're back to square one for this position. I'm going to make an extra effort to start a preliminary search do some prospecting, do some sourcing across LinkedIn and different platforms and job boards in hopes I can find somebody else, but we were so close. Happy Tuesday morning. Just finished a great Zoom with one of my hiring managers at my education tech client. So she is basically the hiring manager for the product designer that we're about to kind of kick off the search for. And this is really just me touching base with her, making sure that we're really aligned on expectations. So she understands how we work, how we can best help each other out. But most importantly for me to make sure we know exactly what they're looking for. I say this time and time again, if you've been watching, if you're on the agency side or even internal, it's really important to understand what your hiring manager wants, because if you don't know what they want and then you go out there, you'll just be wasting your time finding people that are not going to be a good fit. So it really is all about having the right questions to ask. Now, if you're telling me that you don't know what questions to ask, this is where it's really, really helpful to be specialized. Now, I totally get if you're internal or in-house, it's a completely different ballgame because you or maybe one other or a couple other people, especially if it's a small company, are responsible for hiring everything, technical and non-technical. So if that's the case, then really the only thing you can do is try your best during work and even after work hours to just read and watch videos and just learn as much as you can of majority of the positions that you work, so that you know exactly what these professionals do day to day, the skills that they use, so that you really understand like their point of view to be able to then ask the better and more specific questions. If you're on the agency side, this is why it's also really important to be specific to a niche. Like be a master on one niche and not be tempted to kind of recruit anything outside of that, because you want to be able to really understand as much as you can everything about your target market, so that when you engage with candidates, when you engage with clients, you know exactly how to talk to them and then come off credible. You know, if you're doing a role for the first time, you're not going to come off credible, and it's going to just give a bad, uncertain vibe to the candidates that you speak with. And of course, you're not really going to leave the best impression when it comes to the clients, the founder, the hiring managers you're working with. So obviously, if you've been watching, I've dabbled a little bit here and there on markets that we don't really specialize in. I only really do that if, number one, it's like a really good friend, someone that's in my network that really wants me to help out personally, or number two, it is in a domain, for example, like finance or ops or e-commerce, that like I also know just very, very well. Also, what I don't really show during these videos is I just try my best on the weekends and the weeknights just to read as much as possible, especially in technology. Technology is always evolving, it's always changing. It's really important to be up to date in terms of the trends and the new softwares and new tools, because everything constantly changes. As important as it is for software engineers or designers to understand like the newest language or tools, it's important for us recruiters in whatever market that we are to be updated and kept abreast on the changing tides of our industry and our market, so that we can obviously make sure we know what cutting edge is, what's on the boundaries of the new innovations in our market, so that we can of course incorporate that and communicate adequately to whoever we're talking to and just come off a lot more professional. And so it's very, very important to be niche. So if you're in tech, for instance, it's very important to be niche. So just only stick with data, just only stick with DevOps or UX or software engineering, but also do your best to understand like the wider, more holistic picture of the tech industry. What are the trends, what's happening, what's not happening, so that you can of course use that knowledge to just build camaraderie and better connect with people you're talking to. So I'm going to start a UX search, a product designer search immediately. We are looking for product designers end to end, from research testing all the way to hands-on design, that have worked on great consumer-facing products, web products, and most importantly, they have to have experience working at fast-paced, fast-growth companies. And so if you think you might know of anyone, definitely reach out. I'm gonna be directly sourcing and prospecting for this starting probably in an hour from now, and also looking for recruiters for the same company as well. But happy to say that we already have about 5 recruiters in the pipeline already. We're able to move very, very fast. And it seems like the first couple interviews are going really well. Just want to make sure that we can really build this designer pipeline and just really leave the discussions with the designer, hopefully in a positive way, that she understands that we know what she's looking for, so that we can kind of prove to her that we can be a long-standing partner for her, her team, and the rest of the org. So got a lot of work to do. Happy Thursday morning, and check out this improving setup behind me. Hope you guys like it. Slowly making progress, but It's been a pretty crazy week so far. It's Thursday morning, right after 9 a.m. Just finished a Zoom call, checking in with my aviation client, and making sure that we're recalibrating for all the open positions that we want to target. We just closed the product manager last month, which I'm excited about. They want us to help with the data product manager. However, I'm not gonna start that search because I don't know what that means. Do they just want a product manager that's competent with data or analytics or analysis on a very like surface level? That's really most competent tech product managers would have that. Or do they want someone that has a more substantial data background, data engineering, data science, prior to pivoting to product manager? So I don't know exactly what he wants, and this is why it's very important to preserve our time and effort and making sure that we're aligned before we go out there and do the search. So the action step for that is for me to connect with directly the CPO. Hopefully I can talk to him later today or tomorrow, just to understand exactly what he wants so that we're on the same page. And then for the data science position, last we heard they want to talk to mid-level seniors or plus, but it seems like they only want to focus on senior level data science positions. So I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate that as well and just shut down our junior and mid-level searches right now. In terms of today, my action plan, I'm going to focus a lot on software engineering. So if you're watching this, great software engineers, or you are a recruiter who have a lot of great software engineers in your network, always looking for front-end full stack, mainly full stack or back-end across all modern languages, specifically in New York, or 100% remote. We have a lot of amazing opportunities with early stage to established companies that are looking for amazing talent. Salary can go up to about 200. So, and a lot of them offer either equity, RSUs, or benefits. Definitely benefits, but a combination of RSUs, options, and equity on the back end as well, in addition to tons of growth. So if you know of anyone, let me know. But we got a ton of interviews today, a ton of calls today, possibly talking to another new real estate client today. They're in the commercial real estate space, not really a tech company, so I'm not 100% sure if we can help them here, but I just definitely want to do what I can to provide value and see what we can do. Other than that, we had some designers this week are moving forward in the process. We had a candidate for a director of performance marketing that did really well with our e-commerce client yesterday, who's moving forward. And then we also had an engineer as well. So everything all in all is moving forward. About 2, 4, 6 interviews today, 7 interviews today. Got to send out an engagement letter, new client, and a ton of candidates. So aside from that, no clear offers yet. Like, we're slowly pushing forward. I really want to kind of pop another one. So just doing whatever I can to make it happen. So let's make it a good day. In recruiting, whether it's in-house or agency, but more specifically in the agency world, we are paid based on how much effort we put into our work. You can always work smart and use a lot of software and tools, but at the end of the day, if you're not working hard, you're not putting in the effort, consistency over time, you're not gonna really find a lot of results. I've been getting a lot of recruiters who are getting demoralized or depressed or just feeling down because they're not seeing the results that they are. It's really simple when it comes to outreach and candidates. It really comes down to, I think, 2 main buckets. Number one, if you're not seeing results, are you customizing? Are you crafting? What is your outreach saying? Do you have a valid or effective hook? Are you painting that picture effectively to the candidates about the job? Are you really incorporating important information that the candidates would want to know for them to actually want to respond to you? If not, then you might have to kind of go back to the drawing board and see if, for example, if you were in the candidate's shoes, would you respond to your own message? So make sure that you incorporate the basics of your job, really sell it. What's exciting? What's the X factor of the company? Anything special about the founders or the funding or the investors or their culture? Definitely include that. Having that down, then the second real main bucket is effort. Like, how many candidates are you actually reaching out to? Like, are you reaching out to 1? Are you reaching out to 5 or 10, getting no responses and then getting depressed? Like, if that's the case, then you need to really reach out to more candidates. The more people you reach out to, the better you can also optimize and craft your messaging, the more responses that you'll get. It's really based on probability there. The same thing with the clients. If you're reaching out to form new relationships with clients, are you crafting? Are you personalizing, customizing the outreach to the clients, to the hiring managers effectively? Like, what makes you different from all the other recruiters out there? Because founders, hiring managers, they get hit up all the time. Are you specialized in the market? Do you do anything differently? Do you have a different business model? What sort of candidates do you have that you can present to them that maybe they're like, wow, this is an amazing candidate, I want to work with you? Like, what are you doing to hook them effectively so that they would want to spare 5-10 minutes of the day to talk to you? And aside from that, same thing with the candidates. Are you reaching out to enough companies? A lot of times, you reach out to one, you reach out to 2 or 3 or 5, you hear nothing, and then you get depressed. This is nothing unique. When you work in sales, when you work in business development, when you found your own company, it's all about effort plus consistency over time. You can reach out to like 20 companies, you can reach out to 20 candidates or 30 or 40, and then you get a spike in responses, but then you slow down and you don't reach out to additional candidates or clients consistently afterwards, and then your responses fall. What do you need to do? Whatever you can do, push yourself as much as you can, but most importantly, it's not so much what you can do in the beginning, it's what you can do and sustain and maintain over time. The more effort that you can do consistently every day, it will slowly compound and snowball into consistent results every single day and week following. When it comes to like me talking to candidates, I do my best in terms of being consistent. Every single day I do the same thing. It's either I'm reaching out to clients or I'm reaching out to candidates over and over and over again. And the last tip that I do want to share with you is the importance of follow-up. If you reach out to one person, if you reach out to one client or one candidate and then you give up, chances are they probably didn't even see your first email, or maybe they did, but then they're stuck in work or something is preoccupying them that's a little bit more important. You have to follow up religiously to the people that you're reaching out to. Statistically, people respond to you by the second or third follow-up, so it's very, very key that you also follow up and stay organized as much as possible. I think that is a little bit more important than you reaching out to 100 clients and you only reach out to them once. So make sure you follow up with them as well, but most importantly, make sure that you customize, personalize, and you match it with the effort and you follow up. I think that is the winning combination for you to get the results that you want. Just don't forget, as a final tip, like stay positive, be optimistic. It's not a get rich quick. This is a business that you're building. It's relationships that you're building, and that doesn't happen overnight. That happens over time. And so even if you reach out to candidates or clients, even if they say no, make sure you put a note down somewhere and you follow up with them sometime in the future, because they will remember you in the future. You can customize, personalize further, and then slowly over time you can develop awesome relationships. So at the end of the day, we're in the relationship business. Make sure that you don't waste the people's times that you're reaching out to. If it's just generic, if you're not incorporating any unique personalized info in whatever outreach you're doing, it's simply better off not even reaching out to them at all. So make sure you can also empathize and try to sit in that position of the person receiving your outreach and ask yourself, if I was in their shoes, would I reach out to them? If not, go back to the drawing board, try to dissect your outreach. Is it too long? Is it too short? Does it have enough all that critical information or not? Just try to problem solve, adapt, and try again. And if you can do it consistently and you stay positive and you take the hits, and you understand that that's really the most difficult thing that's preventing you from finding success in this business. Now you understand that, and now you can be motivated, inspired, and understand that's really like the only thing blocking you from your success. So stay consistent, personalize, follow up, be positive, and you guys got this. Happy Thursday. It's about 5 p.m. Just got off the Zoom call earlier with a potential brand new client in the commercial real estate space here in local DC, who's possibly looking to hire an operations coordinator. Now, typically, I don't really engage too much with companies beyond tech or e-com, but I am a huge fan of real estate, have a very soft spot. And that also goes the same with finance too. So willing to kind of see if we can help them. They're a very small team, only about 13. They're looking for someone entry level. Again, we don't really engage too much on super entry level roles, but we had nevertheless a very productive chat, just really understanding what exactly do they want. It's a non-technical role. It's a one where, if you have good head on your shoulders, you're competent, you have a good, decent set of skills, you can learn like 95% of the things that they want this person to do. So I think straightforward, it should be pretty easy. They're also pretty flexible in terms of the background. Ideally, real estate, finance, even tech will be fine, but because it's junior, because it's operations, and operations have a pretty good response rate, willing to maybe kind of take a stab at it if the typical agreement terms work for them. So we'll see what we can do, but overall they seem like really, really cool guys. They basically worked and crushed it at a really big brokerage. They left about 6 years ago to create their own team, and now they're doing really, really well and organically growing and looking for someone to help out with all things ops. And I just love to support small teams, regardless of any industry, where people kind of really made the decision to go out on their own, bet against themselves, and just go for it. And so either way, if this doesn't work out, it's still really cool to know them. Maybe I can swing by their office one time and just to meet them in person. But it's always good to network and create new relationships. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. Crazy news. So we just heard back from our education tech company that one of our product designers had a final round with the founder today. And when I say final, it's the second round. Their interview process is only 2 stages long, and it's super fast. Now, this guy, our candidate, flew through the first round on Monday, final today. I just got an email from the CEO saying, hey, they really like him, they want to move forward. When can I chat with the founder? So this could potentially be an offer, which is amazing, but they do not offer equity, and I don't know how competitive they can be on salary. It's really going to come down to this point where I need to understand how competitive can they be, because they're competing against many of the tech companies that are going to offer a better salary and much better equity bonus. So if these guys don't have a bonus or equity, they need to come out as strong as they can on the salary, just to even remain competitive. If not, they're going to lose candidates time and time again, because us recruiters, experienced recruiters, you always hear me say this if you've been watching for a long time, but this is the best time to be a recruiter. Not only to pivot your career or start a career in recruiting, but if you're experienced in recruiting, you probably get hit up all the time because companies need help hiring desperately. So we're in so high demand, and my candidate who has interviewed with my client is also in process with like 4 other companies. So it's a long shot for my client to actually close them. But I'm really happy because this is the brand new company, brand new client. We picked up the first role, submitted a candidate on Monday. We engaged them last Friday, and now we have a final Thursday. Like, that's exactly how we like to move with all of our clients. Fast results. And now it's up to us, it's up to them really to see if we can close them. But now I'm just waiting for them to get back to me, hoping that we can kind of confirm a day and time I can jump on a call with them and then figure out what the best way is to close my candidate. I would still need to jump on the phone with my candidate to see exactly how he feels about my client. Does he have any concerns? Is he excited? Where is he with his other interview processes? Has his salary expectations changed throughout the process? A lot of things to catch up on, but overall, really great to reach potential offer with a brand new client. I just love performing really well and exceeding expectations with all new clients that we bring on board. So fingers crossed.
He knows that there's no equity involved, correct?
Yes, I did mention that to him. Yes, as soon as I got your email, I was also hoping to sync with him sometime myself later today or tomorrow, just to kind of get a final pulse on him. I definitely do want to reconfirm the whole equity piece, but because of his other outstanding interviews, if you guys do want to move forward and it's primarily revolving around the salary, then we have to maybe we'd love to kind of hear what probably the strongest offer that you can do, just to kind of come out strong and be as competitive as possible.
You said that his expectations were 160, 165. So I think that's let's start at 160 total comp.
Yes, but I also have the expectations that his other offers can come around the same, or maybe even come beyond that and offer equity on top of that.
Why don't we just start you can just get a sense from him, right?
Right.
What he's thinking, and then let's start at 160, and then we have a little bit of room, if we need to go up to 170.
Okay, so that was the COO to my education tech company. Now, she initially thought that she wanted to move forward to an offer, and then she was thinking about, she's like, should I talk with someone else on my team? But then I'm like, you know what? He's talking to other companies. You need to be competitive. Scratch that adding another stage, move forward to an offer, which is what we're doing. So she then agreed, and she's like, okay, can you get me his references? So I'm going to definitely get his references and send it over to her. But I'm also trying to find a time with him tomorrow where I can sync up with him and really understand exactly what he's looking for salary wise. I am worried about these other offers that also offer bonus and equity. And so we'll see what happens. And I think if they come out at 160, that's his bare minimum. They're probably going to be the lowest offer out of all these others. So it's not going to be easy for them. For a company, that doesn't offer equity versus companies that can, they don't even do bonus. So they're just falling out short here. So it's all about finding the right person, moving fast, and giving the best strong offer that we can. So we'll see what can happen, but either way, great position to be in.
Yeah, whatever the next steps look like, I'd definitely be open to, if everything is basically optional for me, I would definitely just want to have maybe another call just to maybe have a more focused conversation, just because that first one was more intro-y, right? Maybe we can have a conversation that kind of breaks off or kind of picks up where we left off additionally.
How are your other interviews going timeline-wise?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm definitely, so I do have a company that is likely going to be making me a verbal today, but there isn't a timeline quite yet because there is follow-up conversation that I'm also in parallel requesting and they want to have as well.
So like these other two companies, are they like other startups too? Or are they like large companies or smaller companies? I'm just curious.
The biggest company is no more than like 600, 700 employees.
Oh, wow. Ideally, you'd be looking for at least like 160 or higher. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I think from our last conversation also, just to kind of piggyback off on that, you mentioned, and it sounded like you were unsure, but it sounded like equity was not a thing. You know, I will be fully transparent that there's not going to be equity. I'm going to spike on the cash flow for sure as much as possible. Most companies are offering anywhere between 20 and 30K of equity that I'm talking to at the moment at some point. And obviously some of these startups, they're not immediate, right? But some of the companies that I have talked to were a little bit closer to the end. That was like a rough number that I think I'm going to be getting. So that's like roughly 125, 130 over 4 years as far as our RSUs or equity.
Oh my God, happy Friday morning, and this is gonna be nuts. So I talked to the recruiter who is going into final rounds with my ed tech company, and wow, he has possible 2 other offers with 2 other companies that also offer bonus and equity. My client Howard does not offer equity, and you know, at the highest they can go, well not really, but the initial kind of number they're thinking about coming out is 160, which is his minimum. That's not gonna fly. Just from that conversation alone, I was able to discover that most likely the other offers will be at least like 10 to 20K higher than that. There's of course a lot of levers to maneuver, and he's ideally looking for a 10-15K jump above that, plus a sign-on bonus or a 20K jump, and see what happens there. He did say that, you know, if my client comes out with the lowest offer, that's not immediately gonna disqualify them, but I've heard that hundreds of times, and big numbers talk a lot, especially if the difference is substantial. So, oh man, so what I'm thinking already is I just need to source for a plan B, because this one's gonna be a tough one. I mean, he's excited about my client. They're mission oriented. It's a chance for him to grow into the director or head of recruiting, which is obviously something he really wants to do. But recruiters are almost as competitive or in demand as really some of the best professionals out there. So it's no surprise that he's also in process with 2 other companies, and they're gonna come out with really strong offers, plus bonus, plus equity. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna have to just be frank with the client and tell them that if they start with 160, that's not a good standing. They need to come out stronger than that, and they need to also be able to use other levers like bonuses or whatever they can to remain competitive. But he also gave me positive feedback, which is great. He wants to talk to the CEO and stakeholders to get more information, which is fine. Like I talked about before earlier this week, that I was happy that their interview process was short, and I actually recommended them not to move forward with the other stakeholders so we can kind of get our candidate across the finish line as fast as possible to be competitive. But you know, it seemed like it was too short for the candidate, which is understandable. And it seems like timeline would still not be too crazy as I originally thought, as we had a couple days next week for him to talk to other people. So he asked if he could talk to at least the CEO or another stakeholder or both again. So gonna set that up. Gonna talk about the salary and comp with them again, but oh man, this is gonna be a close one. But nothing like Fridays, talking about offers, final stages, nerve-wracking, exciting, nail-biting. We'll see what happens. The other offers that are gonna come in are gonna be significantly higher than the original 160. So I don't think we should come out with 160. I think if we can come out a little bit higher, that would be ideal. Again, like he is more than happy to have an honest discussion directly with you. But it seems like the other companies are gonna be offering him at least kind of like 20, 30K of equity, which basically converts to an extra like $120,000, $140,000 over the next 4 years. So he's gonna wanna ideally something competitive, meaning if it's just salary right now with you guys, I think he's probably gonna be looking at least for like something a little bit higher than 160, maybe like 170 or something plus a sign-on bonus, or if you can go higher than that, then a sign-on bonus is not needed. But for you to be competitive, 160 is really, really is going to be on the low end. So I think you should definitely come out higher. Yeah, so 170 plus, 180 plus would be ideal. I know that's really, really high for you guys. But again, I just want to be completely transparent with what he's expecting from the other offers. I tried I tried my best. At least I did tell them 160 no. Well, they can do 160, but they're just not gonna hire him at that. So references, they're gonna reach out to him immediately to schedule another phone call, and we'll, I guess, have to wait again till next week. It's never fun getting finals and offers on a Friday because you have to wait the whole weekend instead of like, you know, just moving things for the next day if it was midweek or early week, which I like to do. So it's like, I love the weekend, but I don't like just waiting and not being able to do anything. So fingers crossed.
I did tell you though, I was talking to another agency though, right?
Yes, you did.
These are the only two real conversations I've had. Like, I really wasn't even actively looking, but yeah, they made me an offer, and I mean, I accepted it, but I would honestly prefer to go in-house. Yeah, no, I mean, I would. Yeah, I really would like to try like an in-house situation, because I've been in the agency world for like 10 years. You know, I guess I'll just have to compare offers, and yeah, but you're right, totally. Like, you know, in the end, it's just kind of like a career move, and whatever's best for me. But I mean, obviously the offer plays a major onus in the decision too, you know. Like after the salary and bonus, it was like 124. It's going to be kind of a tough decision, but you know, I am leaning more towards in-house because, you know, I've been in agency world for a decade.
All right. So talk to my candidate who has another offer that he actually accepted, which I didn't know, but he likes my client so much. At the end of the day, like, he really wants to pivot his career in-house, which is what my client is. The other offer that he tentatively accepted is with an agency, and he's been in an agency for the past decade. And the fact that he can be in finance, in-house, tech has become something that's a lot more intriguing and exciting for him, which is why he really wanted to kind of go through the process with my client as much as possible. Now, in this situation, it's very sensitive. I'm in no way trying to push my candidate to my client. Of course, like deep down inside, I would love nothing more for them to accept it. It's really just, you know, presenting him again as much information so that he can make the best decision for himself. It is not ideal to renege on an offer, but at the end of the day, like, you have to do what's best for your career. And I need to give him some space to make that decision on his own without me being aggressive and pushing him, because, you know, that's something that is always sensitive, and I empathize with the company that he accepted, that, you know, he's gonna burn bridges or get people angry there if he does that. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? So at the same time, like, he did tell me that he likes finance, he likes in-house. If an offer comes out, he's leaning more towards my client, which is obviously great. But we're not gonna be able to tell until next week anyway. He sent them his references yesterday, and I think they're probably going through them today, early next week. So we'll see what happens, but everything looks good here too. Again, sensitive, not ideal. I always don't feel really good about my candidates like reneging offers elsewhere. That's obviously not a best practice that I like to endorse or support. But it's a unique situation where I just need to, you know, give him space and not be the person to kind of push him, but person to remind him what's important from him, present with him, and then just see what we can do with the offer. And then, you know, what happens, what happens. All right, it is 5 p.m. here on a Friday, and it's that time to end yet again another video. If you made it this far, I just want to thank you again for watching. It really means a lot. And everyone who reached out so far since we started, I always love connecting and networking and meeting other amazing headhunters and recruiting professionals here in the US or around the world, and regardless of whatever industry or market that you're in. But I'm feeling pretty beat from the week. We had a pretty good week. We had a pretty good day today. We had about 7 interviews, and majority of them have done very well moving forward. As you heard earlier today, I did 2 different process calls with 2 different candidates with 2 different clients entering the offer stage next week. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do right now, considering it's now end of week here. If you want to see and you're curious what happens, make sure you tune in next week, because I'm hoping at least one, if not both, would be amazing to pop. If you really love these videos and just want to see more like it, and you have any other ideas, any other ways that we can help, please feel free to comment down below. I will always try my best to read every comment and get back to you. Feel free to also reach out to me on Instagram and even our free Discord, where we're creating a really awesome community online with other like-minded individuals and recruiters around the world. And the whole purpose of that is to just really be a great online casual destination where we can all just just help each other out, ask questions, and encourage everyone to just keep going. But if you are as excited as I am of really maintaining this momentum, finishing off March, finishing off Q1, make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell. It will really give us the energy and focus and everything else that we need to just end this Q1 awesome and kickstart and make sure our 2022 is off to a good start. Also, another request, but if you are an engineer, software engineer, you're watching this with at least 2 to 4 years of experience and you're passionate or very fascinated about the recruiting or HR space, please reach out to me either on Discord or Instagram. I would love to have your advice on maybe certain things that we're kind of cooking up behind the scenes, and always great to kind of meet other great kind of tech professionals that are really excited about our specific space and would love to get your opinion and advice on a couple of things. So if you're an engineer or you know of any engineers who are really excited about the recruiting space specifically, please reach out to me. We'd love to run a couple of things by you. But aside from that, just very grateful that we're seeing really good momentum, really good engagements with candidates, really good engagements with our clients moving forward. And we do have a lot of really great candidates that are submitting in process. And this whole week really kind of bent over backwards to put our best foot forward for our brand new education client. And as you can see, we have reached in one short week an offer with one of the positions. And hopefully the designer that interviewed today has also done really well, fingers crossed. But always love picking up new clients and then delivering for them as fast as possible, really showing them what we can kind of bring to the table and the results that we can provide. And then really just, focus on product positions and finish off the week, really reaching out to great software engineers as we are looking for software engineers for all different types of backgrounds, experience levels, and geographic locations, whether it's in or around New York or around the week. So coming into next week, the focus will continue to be on data positions, product positions, software engineer positions, and everything else that we're going to bring on board. We have a possible new client with a real estate company who's looking for ops that I talked to today, going to be sending out an engagement letter. And also this week, was able to meet another really great person who might enter our recruiting partnership network. She's also from New York and she's doing really awesome and killing it in-house. And always, again, what really excites me is meeting other great like-minded recruiters who's either entering the space, who's been in the space for a long time, and they're really good in their markets. And we all do the same thing at the end of the day, so we can focus more on collaborating and less on competition. I feel like by doing that, we can provide more value to everyone that we work with, whether it's the candidates or founders or hiring managers, and ultimately give more value to everyone, win-win for everybody. But it's been a long day. I've been feeling it. I really definitely enjoy making these videos, and I hope that at the least I can bring some amusement and entertainment with you as you watch this as well. So thank you so much again. Really means a lot. I'm gonna take it easy now, switch gears, do a little reading, catch up with some extra work tonight and over the weekend. And again, you know it, we'll see you on the next week, hopefully with some offers. So thank you again. Hope you had a great week, and we'll see you then.